It's Saadia Yasmin and I'm an artist, but I joined EWI as potentially a cafe owner. The concept is I'm from the border of Afghanistan and Pakistan, so I grew up with teas and I also grew up with art. So it's a fusion of teas and art and creating a community for people where they can come and feel like a family. I went to Boston last Thanksgiving, and I saw this exhibit on Japanese ink, and so I became obsessed with the idea of Japanese ink, which kind of made me go into watercolors a little bit. The painting is called Shall I Dance or Shall I Pray? And I think it's interesting that I picked up this painting to bring in here because it was done with a poem that I wrote, and the poem is called Shall I Dance or Shall I Pray? And from the culture that I come from, it's like what I see in the world that's wrong and how we can fix it, and how people tell us how there is so much wrong with us. So it's very personal to me. And then you have this dervish who is basically in the Turkish or the Middle Eastern culture. The dervish, when he dances, he's actually praying. So there's a lot of irony in the painting as well. But it's watercolor and Japanese ink. Just a lot of technical things, you know, because we're artists, we're creative people, so sometimes we just need people to tell us, okay, you need to write a business plan, you have to get your act together. And I've been painting for most of my life, and it's not that I haven't tried to take care of little things, like business cards, for instance, but when I was in this program, you know, Shannon and Marga and Aaron, they all said, listen, you have to do this by next week. Make sure you have your business cards. So although I thought about it most of my life, you know, because of this program, I was able to get this little simple task done, which a lot of us don't think about. So my biggest challenge is just, you know, getting the technical aspect of it down. Everything I do, it's a political statement with my art, and I first started painting because people would send me images of the victims of the war in Afghanistan or Pakistan, and I started making faces, painting their faces, and I did a show at Bloom Bars in Columbia Heights, and it was all faces of Afghan refugees, Afghan orphans, and it was sort of bringing a human face to the war and telling people that there are a lot of casualties and these people don't deserve it. So it was sort of like bringing it back home that, look, these people are also human. So everything I do, there was a piece on the table called I'm Gaza, and it was to empathize with the situation in Palestine. I have a piece called Save Darfur. And so it's all political. It's some of it is political and some of it is just, you know, because I'm an artist, I want to paint, but it's just to give a voice to the voiceless and with my art. I don't know, get into groups like EWI because I think, you know, being in this group, you don't only benefit from getting tasks done that you need to do as an entrepreneur, and you can focus on it because you're an artist, but you also get to meet a lot of women who are just like you. And it's such an inspiration, I think. I remember coming into the class, I left the class all the time talking to all of these other women in our class, and I would get these wonderful ideas from them, and they would get ideas from me. So it was like us helping each other, having this support group. And sometimes a lot of us, we do need a support group, you know, and EWI did that for us. I encourage people to sign up with me so I can keep them posted with everything, but you can go to www.saadiayasmin.tumblr.com. I have everything on there. If you Google Saadia Yasmin, you can find videos of art shows I've done. You can find me on Facebook. And if you go to www.mixcloud.globalrickshaw, that's a radio show I do in Fairfax,
Cool.
and you can keep posted on all of my events through there.